wellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives.
You're listening to A Quirky Journey, the Healthy Family Podcast with your hosts Jo Whitten and Leah Follett. Hello everyone, welcome to A Quirky Journey. Join us as we share our family's journeys to good health. You'll find plenty of inspiration, tips and recipe ideas, as well as stories from everyday people who've struggled and overcome health problems and diet challenges in their own families. I'm Jo Whitten, author of the blog and book Quirky Cooking, and I'm here with my friend and co-host Leah Follett. Hello Leah.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Today we have a very special guest, and it's my son Isaac.
Hello.
Hi, Isaac.
Hello.
Isaac's here to talk with us about gaps from a kid's perspective. So we do get a lot of questions about, why are we doing gaps and why are we putting our kids on gaps, and it's not healthy to put your kids on a diet. It teaches them, to worry about food when they should just be relaxing, and we get questions about what's so bad about your kids' health. They seem quite normal. Why would you need to go on gaps? So we're going to let Isaac answer a lot of that for us because, straight from the horse's mouth about why and how and what we're doing. And I think it's good for other kids who have to go through a special diet or some kind of elimination diet or something to hear from another kid how they're coping, and to get a bit of an encouragement from another child, because it can be very scary for a child to have to, it's hard enough for an adult, don't you think, Leah?
I do, and, like monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
So, for my boys, they learn from each other, even with our schooling and what we're doing at the moment. I think Gabriel picks up more information when William actually takes the time to sit down with him. It's working on the same level, and it's from their words and it's their perspective, and it's not a bigger person looking over them and then just putting this on them. Yeah, it's
it definitely helps. Yeah. It's almost also positive peer pressure. Because
it is in a way, but it's for, like, my kids they love teenagers.
Yes.
They just love them. We had, just a few weeks ago, we had a friend come and stay, and that was the first time that Gabriel had actually recognised that kid was a teenager. So the whole time while Jesse was here, he's 14. Yeah. The whole time while Jesse was here, it was like Jesse went to bed at this time. Oh, he's a teenager. He's important. So there's this, this idyllic, I'm going to be a teenager one day, and this is what they do. So teenagers sleep in. So Gabriel was sleeping, and he's normally up at the crack of dawn. But, and then, of course, Jesse would clear his plate from the kitchen after eating, and Jesse would take his laundry to the... So they model off other kids because that's what they're going to grow into and be. They don't necessarily identify that they're going to be an adult one day, or going to be a father or a parent or any of those other things.
That's too far
away.
But
they know. It's too... Yeah, that's right. It's too far in advance. But they know in a few short years they're going to be a teenager.
Yes.
And teenagers are the coolest thing in the world, and that's exactly where Isaac is. So, I know what he's going to say today is going to be coming from an absolute place of empowerment to other kids his age and kids a little bit younger as well. So I can't wait. It's going to be beautiful.
And we've told Isaac to be completely honest. He doesn't know the questions we're asking him. I've actually asked in the GAPS group where lots of people with kids doing GAPS are, and I said to them, what questions do you want us to ask Isaac? What questions do your kids want us to ask Isaac? So this is a completely honest... I can't control this. Maybe I'll pinch him. No, just kidding.
No.
You've already had to do that once in the intro.
And
once again, just then.
I told him to be quiet.
Well, as long as he doesn't have the Rubik's Cube.
No.
Have you frisked him? Have you patted him down?
Right. No Rubik's Cube.
There's no Rubik's Cube? Okay, cool.
Okay. They're usually hiding somewhere on his person. Clackety, clackety, clack. Okay, so he's going to behave, but he's going to speak honestly, and that's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
So Isaac's 13, by the way, if anyone's wondering. And we'll just quickly explain for any of you who haven't followed on with all of our podcasts or didn't hear the intro, or just give you a little bit of history. So when we first decided we needed to do GAPS, our kids were pretty apprehensive, which is pretty normal, I think. They freaked out a bit at the idea of not having bread for a while and not having, cheese and sugary desserts and not that I used cane sugar, but just, the sweet foods that they were used to. Rapidura, they weren't too happy about missing out on that. But they were going okay until they found out that it can be 2 years, and then they totally lost the plot. And they just thought, how will we survive with no bread for 2 years, no pasta, no rice? That really scared them. So I was trying to keep it, look, guys, this is one step at a time. We're just going to see how this goes and see if it makes a difference. And that's where I'm coming from, that we needed to try something drastic because of big problems with health. And GAPS is not for everyone, but we decided to try it to see if it would help. And we're a few months down the track now. So we started sort of delving into GAPS in August, and it's now, It's January. So that's, we're almost up to, 5 or 6 months since we started, but the actual intro diet we started the 1st of...
October the 2nd is when I...
Okay, October, yeah. 1st of October for me, October the 2nd for you.
Well, I was having beef jerky, and then I after realised I wasn't supposed to be having it.
So you had to start the next day, that's right.
Oh no, I think I might have been even having it the next day, I don't remember.
Anyway, it was at the start of October, we don't have to be pedantic about it. But we just wanted to explain to you all that if you're starting with GAPS, it's not something that's always cut and dried, straight up. You first, I'm going to do GAPS and you start the next day. I think we have talked about this on other podcasts. We eased our way into it. So we worked backwards. We were already having mostly dairy-free and a lot of gluten-free or low gluten and low sugars, but definitely not as low as they could have been. So we just started working backwards and sort of went to a more paleo approach. We had to the kids went to a youth camp, we had to travel, the kids were, we had holidays, we had a wedding to go to, so we couldn't just dive straight into intro. We started, just working back and going as much as we could paleo. Then we removed starches, which obviously in paleo you can have starches, but you can't in GAPS. So starches and sweet potato, and started cutting out all the other sweeteners besides a little bit of honey. And then we started taking out butter, ghee, yogurt, cheese. And then when we got to the stage where we were comfortable with that and we were home for a good month and we were really able to focus on this new way of eating and cooking, then we began the intro phase. So starting from there, early October, now we're nearly pretty much full GAPS. We've sort of got a few things that we haven't put in just because we've always had a history with having problems with dairy. So at the moment we have our 24-hour GAPS yogurt in the dehydrator.
Are you serious? You've done it.
I finally did it, so we're going to see how we go. The big experiment.
I still have not even had raw apple yet or a whole raw carrot, which I need to have.
So there's a few little things that we haven't done to be full GAPS yet, but slowly.
Yeah, it's very highly individualised too. Yeah, so you go at your own pace. And
some people put the yogurt in the first couple of weeks, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I didn't do yogurt at all. And even once we were in the full GAPS, I didn't do dairy yogurt, I should say.
Yeah.
And even when we were full GAPS, it was me meddling around with some coconut.
Yeah.
Like a fresh coconut, which I'd taken the soft flesh out of, as well as the coconut water and a bit of kefir, and that's what my yogurt kind of looked like. But it wasn't. We just didn't go back to the dairy, even though we've dabbled. Yeah, we're still not back there. I don't think that my body wants me to have it. Keeps telling me no.
Yeah, I know. It's just with me, I've been very wary. So it'd be nice if I could get a couple of the kids I know will probably be fine.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure about Isaac, but we'll try it and see, and we'll soon know.
Yeah.
We might have to wait a bit longer if not, but we'll see how we go. But we might go ahead and ask Isaac some questions. So Isaac's the one in our family that probably really spurred us on to do GAPS, as in he needed it the most.
India had the most, probably needed it as well.
Yeah, India did as well.
And Simeon always had a snotty nose, so...
Isaac's just going to tell all the family secrets.
But I love this. You take the reins, buddy.
But Cassia, she never really had many problems. But
But she eats too much sugar.
She eats too much sugar. She needs to,
Cool it.
Yeah, she's a lot like Dad, because Dad can eat pretty much anything.
Yeah.
The rest of us are more like Mum.
Yeah.
So, Isaac, do you want to explain how you were feeling before we began GAPS?
Well, before we began GAPS, I was like, what do you mean? Do you mean like, was I disappointed that we had to go on GAPS, or
No, I mean, sorry.
OCD?
Why did we start it?
Well, we started GAPS because I had quite severe OCD, and I had OCD that was really bad, and Mum called Jubileau and asked her if we needed to go on GAPS, and she said yes, definitely need to go on GAPS. So we went on GAPS.
We should explain why we chose GAPS.
We chose...
Well, let me explain this bit. So if you didn't hear our story earlier on, it was in another of the podcasts, but basically when you're suffering from depression and anxiety, a lot of that is affected by your gut health. So we were doing all sorts of other things, like we've been to the doctor and the psychologist and all these other people to get help for Isaac, but we decided we really need to do something about diet as well. And from everything I'd heard, GAPS was the way to go for healing the gut. And I knew that gut and brain are connected, and if anything, we needed to work on the gut. So that's why I started looking into GAPS, asking people who knew about it, what do you think, would it help? And everybody I talked to said, yes, I would definitely go down that road. And I heard some amazing stories of people who totally changed around their health and their mental health also with GAPS. So I thought, well, it's worth a try. So that's why we began it. And within probably, within a couple of weeks we started to see changes, didn't we? I think definitely it's kind of hard to tell at first, like it's a slow progress, but we definitely feel like we've seen changes. So we're just going to keep going and see how we go. Did you want to ask anything there, Leah?
Well, from the time, I just want to add, before Isaac jumps in and takes over the entire show, because I know he wants to, I just want to add, from the time that I met you over the phone to the time at which I came out to see you, I had some contact with Isaac, but the difference that I saw was just, it was incredible, because I'm, someone he doesn't know, and I was coming into his home, and I was there for a few days with you guys, and he was so much calmer, and the agitation in leaving the house, and, he just wants to be around people.
Yes.
And be an active participant, and he doesn't want to be held back by anything. So I was totally impressed by what I had. I had a conception of what I was coming into based off what we'd been working on over the phone and what I knew, and the information I'd collected as you as a family. And then, for that, I think it was a month or so, I think I came into the home, and to see him doing so well and see him sharing as openly, and I had concerns coming into his household that, I'm a completely different personality, and that I might throw him off or cause some anguish, or there might have been something like that. But he just took having another person in the house in his stride, and out of all the kids, like you've got, I love all your kids equally, but Isaac was the one that spent the most time with me. Isaac was the one that sought me out the most and wanted to know the most he could get out of me for his own health.
Yes.
And I think that was the big thing, was like, wow, Isaac wants to do this for him. I think everyone, okay, so he's 13, but he's much older than 13, and the gravity that he understands of his gut, his body, and his innate system is just so much bigger than what he is age-wise. It's amazing, and the fact that he's been able to take that on board, and he's doing it for himself, and okay, fair enough, he was the straw that broke the camel's back, but he's dragging the rest of the family in, and he's in charge of them, or he's reminding them, and he's empowering them. So, it's the same in my family. It's that one thing that finishes you off in that path and sets you on another path, and Isaac's that. And I can't wait to see what happens with Isaac in his future, because all he wants to do is share wellness.
He does.
And he just wants to make other kids well.
Yep.
But being a part of that and being able to just, you know, sit to the side and watch him grow and get better and better, it really, truly has been an amazing journey for me as a health coach.
And I think
just watching him.
That's great. I think for us, like, because it's gradual, we don't see the changes so much. But when you think back to what we were going through before he started GAPS, there's a very big change.
There's a massive change.
He was
massive change.
For those of you who don't know, he went through a time where he couldn't feed himself. I had to feed him. He couldn't really go out anywhere. He was frightened all the time. He'd cry all the time. He just lived in a little cocoon in his mind, you know, and was either he wanted to be right beside my side all the time.
Well, who wouldn't want to be right beside you all the time? I can guarantee that everyone on the Facebook page wants to be in your pocket.
Leah. That's silly.
No,
it's true, Mum.
It is, see?
Anyway, so now, you know, now he's sleeping over at friends' places. He's going out for the day or a couple of days. He went to camp. You know, he's doing heaps better. So we should go through, Isaac, do you want to explain, you know, do you remember the first week of GAPS and how we went through that really hard stage? Do you want to just explain what that felt like for other kids?
So when I had really severe OCD, we kind of started doing GAPS-like stuff, and it was good, but obviously Mum had to feed me most of the time
At
first, and then like we weren't doing full GAPS because when we were easing into it, and then when we were doing full GAPS, I just felt sometimes a little bit miserable, because I remembered when I was eating that way, like I kind of might have had a break or something in the middle, I don't know, but anyway, I just remembered that when I was eating that way, it just made me feel like miserable, because I remembered how I felt when I was eating
before you got well.
Before I was, you know, it's hard to explain. But anyway, when I first started properly, I felt a little bit miserable, because it was bringing back memories of when I was really depressed, is what I was trying to say, yes. And also I would feel extremely tired for the first few days. I was so tired, I couldn't play soccer in the yard with Simi. Couldn't do much. I was just so tired and worn out.
Muscle aches.
Yeah, well, I didn't really have any muscle aches, but I mainly just really tired, and what was that, you know? And
were you cranky? Like, what was it like with the other people in the house, with your brothers and sisters? Were you more tolerant or less tolerant, do you think?
I would say I was less tolerant, because Simeon would say to me, "Oh, Isaac, you're not normally like this," and I'm just, you know, so I was just half dead because I was so tired. But not quite, but you know.
I think they did a lot better than I thought they would, actually. I thought that they'd be at each other, but we didn't have too many blow-ups, thankfully. It was more just tiredness and had a bit of diarrhea and things like that going on, and, you know, the body's sort of cleaning things out.
And you guys staggered as well, didn't you?
Yes,
everyone sort of staggered their start.
Yep, we did.
Yeah. So you know, Isaac went through his crankies and you went through your crankies and your withdrawals before you started the other two. Otherwise, having that many bodies in the house, because, you know, the 4 kids and then you, it would have just been no understanding for the total household.
Yes. And Daddy was away for the first 2 weeks, which was probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Because he ran away.
No, I know this is coming. I'm out of here.
He was actually away for 3 weeks, sorry. Yeah. So, yeah. But, you know, that phase actually didn't take as long as I thought it might. Within a week, we were pretty good, weren't we? And there was a lot of things that we couldn't have yet, which was the hard thing, like not being able to have fruit and stuff. That was difficult for the kids. But just being through that really horrible phase was nice. Just the energy came back and we felt a lot better.
Isaac, do you feel like you have more energy now? Like, are you still snacking lots and lots in between meals, or you feel that you're more comfortable having a big breakfast and a big lunch, or how do you feel with your energy?
I'm always snacking. But it doesn't seem like I have many problems with my energy. I have been a bit tired lately because it's this time of year. I've been up late it's been the holidays and it's been hot and I've been going to bed really late, which I shouldn't. So tonight, hopefully, I'm going to try and get to bed earlier. But anyway, yeah.
You are such a good boy.
I've been alright, yeah. Futsal is going to start soon and I'll see how I'm going then. But I think I have been to futsal while I'm on the gap side. Yeah, I'm fine. I've got lots of energy and it's fine, yeah. A lot better than it was.
Well, if you ever want to talk to Mark about the GAPS diet and how it affects the athlete, you know you can ring him and talk to him here. So if you want any tips for extra eating here and there, extra fats or extra energy stuff during the game and all that other stuff, you're more than welcome to ring Mark.
You'll be glad to know for breakfast this morning we had bacon, eggs, sauerkraut, which Isaac had the tiniest bit on his plate.
Good job! I'm impressed.
Yay, avocado.
And lots of olive oil.
Poured over the top.
Wow.
Well,
I will have to tell Mark. He's going to be super impressed.
Yes. Well, Isaac is still struggling with sauerkraut.
Oh,
and that's all right too.
So we just put a little bit on his plate and I keep telling him, think of it like pickles. He loves pickles, like pickled cucumbers. So
yeah.
Well, that's all right as long as it's, a fermented veggie.
Yeah, we need to make our own pickles so that way it would be a fermented veggie that he would like.
Can we have
I think Pete Evans has got a kid's kimchi recipe out as well. Maybe that might be more palatable for Isaac.
That might be better. Yeah, I found with the sauerkraut, they don't mind it so much if it's stirred into things, like after. I know that it's going to lose a little bit if it's stirred into your warm food, but it kind of gets them used to the flavour.
And it is. It's a different flavour, and it's in part, mine's quite bitter as well. So when you think about all the, the bitter herbs and the bitter greens and things like that stimulate, bile and get pancreas and all those liver things going, they are bitter, and we don't have a tendency to want to crave them or eat them either. So, it's something you've got to train.
It's funny, though, some, like Simi and India, the older two, love the sauerkraut. They'll just pile it onto their plate. So, I think it's maybe an acquired taste, and he's working on it, aren't you, Zach?
Yeah.
So, I think one thing that people were asking Isaac was, do you miss your old favourite foods, and what do you sometimes wish you could still have?
Oh, well... Okay, well, first of all, cookies. Okay, so, at church, for morning tea, every morning tea, they've always got lots of bought cookies.
Which I never buy at home.
Which Mum never bought at home even before we were on the GAPS diet. But my grandma always had them, and I always used to go over there and eat them, and I just love cookies, and I'm still a little bit... I wish I was allowed cookies, but I'm very happy that we're allowed grain-free cookies. Which is still now and then that are still pretty good. And
we made those lime macadamia ones, didn't we? They were nice.
And some other things. Oh, yeah, chocolate. I love the Cadbury chocolate,
which I also didn't buy before GAPS.
Well, sometimes maybe on a Sunday or something.
I didn't let you have that. I don't like Cadbury. But we weren't allowed chocolate for so long on the GAPS, and that now around Christmas time I made a tiny bit for them, homemade, and they were
and toffee.
And they were so thrilled. So now that we're on full GAPS, there's a few little things now and then that we'll make that help them to not be so sad that they can't have things. It gets better. But I was surprised about the bread, because the bread was the main thing that they were worried about. And now, what was the bread we had the other day that you really liked? It was the seed bread.
Yeah, the seed bread, the green seed bread.
They call it green seed bread because when you mix the sunflower seeds in and it's got bicarb soda in it, the sunflower seeds go green. You know how that happens?
Yeah, I know. I mask that because it kind of, it's not real green, but it's green and it kind of looks manky. So I just put some basil in there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So then it's vividly green, and then we just call it Shrek bread.
My kids thought it was awesome that they were eating green seed bread.
Yeah, well, for my kids, they're aware of what it is. But if I've got people coming into the house, then it's just like, it looks slightly, shouldn't really be green. Yeah, so if I put the basil in there, it gives them that little bit of extra flavour to it, and it just makes this beautiful, vivid green. It's amazing.
Well, Isaac really liked that, and so that's a bit of a win because... we can actually make grain-free breads that the kids like. And my eldest boy, Simeon, he's the one that's always been very much attached to spelt bread. And he was very upset about not having...
I think Simeon's very much attached to anything when it comes to food.
That's true. That's true. But he was very worried. Like, he always whinges about any gluten-free breads. He always has. And yesterday he said to me, Mum, that seed bread was the best seed bread I've ever had. It was a Pete Evans recipe. I'll have to find which. I think it's nut and seed bread. It's from his new paleo program. Yeah. But he was actually really happy with that. So either their tastes are changing or I'm getting better at making grain-free breads. I don't know.
50-50. I reckon you can call either of those and call it a day. I'd be really happy with that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Hey, Isaac, you know how you were just speaking about church and how you had biscuits and things like that at church. How do you go with the other kids and the fact that they're still having those things and you're not? Are there things that your friends are having that you wish you could have? And then how does that sort of affect you socially, I suppose, or emotionally? Within, around your peers, how do you feel that you've got to be on this and they don't have to? What do you feel?
Okay, so that's a good question. That every Sunday usually there's in the kitchen at church. I usually just like Mum brings some nice food that I can have there, and
we can all have.
That we can all have, and we eat them there. And Mum's friend and personal assistant, Faizi, she sometimes comes up to me and says, "Oh, Isaac, you're at the bench again." She always says that because I'm always at that bench eating food while everyone else is eating junk. So, or biscuits and stuff. So, and my friends come up and they're eating biscuits and everything, and they've really gotten used to me just eating at the bench, and I've explained everything to them, and I honestly don't really mind too much, but sometimes there's like, let's say, a Leamington or chocolate Tim Tam or something, and I'm like, oh, please,
Yeah.
Sometimes there's like a meal somewhere, and there's so much delicious sweets that I cannot eat at all, and I'm really disappointed about that. But yeah,
what we do though is just make sure that I always take things that they will enjoy, so that they don't get jealous of what the other kids have.
Yeah, and
so that's my trick. And that's all about being really prepared, really, because you've got to think ahead, even the day before, what's happening the next day, what we need to take. When we were on the early weeks of GAPS, I always had things simmering on the stove, so that as we ran out the door, we'd grab a little thermos for each of the kids, scoop some of what was on the stove into the thermoses, chuck it in their little bags, and everybody went off with their thermos, and that's what they got used to quite quickly. Now it's a lot easier because we can take a bit of fruit, we can take a bit of a muffin or something made without grains, but generally we will take things that are savoury as much as possible, trying to keep the sweets down. If we go to, like last night, we went to someone's house for dinner, and they've got a heap of kids, and I've found that our friends are really helpful with this. Mostly, they really have. They'll ask us, if we're coming over, they'll say, what can we make that you'll be able to eat? What can we make for the kids? And I'll take stuff as well. So we're doing actually quite well. At first, Isaac, do you want to explain at first what your friends thought of the GAPS diet when you told them about it?
Okay. So, they thought, oh, why are you on a diet? You don't need to lose weight. I'm like, I'm not doing it to lose weight. I'm doing it to heal my gut, and I had to explain everything to them and tell them that it's healing my gut and everything. And even my best friend, who's the most polite boy you'll ever see, sometimes makes comments about the GAPS diet, I think. And so, and that, because they just don't understand it. No one understands it these days. But except for sensible people. But I guess they're starting to understand it a bit more, and
they're seeing the improvements.
Yeah, I've explained a lot to them, and
I think it helps also. For one thing, they've seen that he's heaps better, and they've also seen that,
he's more fun.
Yes, because before he would say, no, I don't want to come to your house. He just wanted to be with me all the time. But now he's happy to sleep over or go over to his friend's place.
A couple of years ago, when it first kind of all started, I mean, it started before then, but it started major. Well, that was a while back, and I just referred to it as being depressed because I didn't know it was OCD. And so my friends would be like, oh, can you come over? And I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm still feeling a bit depressed. And then it went away for ages, and then it came back, and then I found out what it was, and, yeah, so...
So they're really happy for him that it's helping.
Yeah.
And we've had other people mention to us how much better my daughter's skin looks, how much happier she is. So...
And my brother...
It's really good.
And my brother, before he was on this diet, he snored like anything. He snored like my grandpa.
Oh, really?
Now he doesn't.
Snored.
He snored so much. I was on the top bunk and I had to shake the bed to get him to stop. It was so annoying. But he since he's been on this diet, he hasn't snored once.
You know what? You know how when you see in the magazines, they have a before photo and an after photo? So they usually have like a fat tablet, and it's like, if you take this fat tablet, you'll go from this to this. Yeah, we should have recorded Simi snoring.
We should.
That would be one of the biggest sales pitches for men and women alike, because, so many people, they don't end up getting quality sleep because the other person snores.
Yes.
Yeah.
I never even considered that snoring would make a difference.
I didn't even think about it either.
Well, that's one of the biggest difference I've seen since we've been on this diet. He has stopped snoring altogether.
Woohoo.
Wow.
Oh, that's funny.
So obviously your quality of sleep has then gone up then?
Oh, well, I don't know. I still don't sleep very well usually, but,
Still working on that one.
Still working on that one.
Good job.
Getting to bed earlier, waking up earlier.
Yeah.
Not rolling around so much.
Excellent.
Probably doesn't help with the hot weather. It's been so sticky here.
Yeah, true.
No
Very
air conditioning. So, Isaac, do you want to explain what kind of foods that you've been really enjoying on GAPS? What's your favourites?
All right, well... As soon as I hit stage 3, I was totally wanting eggs, and I ate them every single day, and eggs and pumpkin pancakes as well were really nice. And, but currently, one of my favourite things to eat on this diet is Mum's really delicious grain-free pastry, which she makes chicken pot pies and stuff. It is so delicious, and I really like, what's the dessert that I really like? I like chocolate pudding, yeah, but we've only recently started having chocolate pudding, like proper chocolate pudding, like custard. But I have liked the custard a bit, and I'm looking forward to having yogurt today or tomorrow, which will be nice.
Mm-hmm.
And so, did you say desserts? No, anything. So yeah, also I really like the meat patties and veggies cooked in broth or just fried. I just love them. They're really delicious. They're a good snack. I never liked them as much as I did when I started the GAPS diet. Now that I've started this diet, I've learned to enjoy them more. And believe it or not, well, of course you'll believe it because this is the GAPS diet, but I hated pumpkin.
He did. He really hated it.
As soon as I got on this diet, not as soon as, but
now
I love roast pumpkins so much. I can eat it.
Do you make the pumpkin chips?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a bit of coconut oil over the top and in the oven?
We've used olive oil, and we are going to swap over to macadamia oil, aren't we?
I guess, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
But yeah, I've been really enjoying the roast pumpkin and
pumpkin
cauliflower
chips.
mash. Ooh, I love cauliflower mash.
Yeah?
And yeah, things like that. So
that's good.
Do you have a favourite drink, Isaac?
Let me see. I really like honey water.
Honey water. Okay, talk
honey
me through that one. Is that a new invention?
Or honey, iced tea made with honey is delicious as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mostly.
Are you making that for the house? No. Is that your job?
Well, not too much.
His little sister Cassia got some fruit tea that's made on rooibos.
Oh, that is delicious.
So it's rooibos with fruits in it, And she puts honey in that and then puts it in the fridge, and so that now and then they have that for a special drink when her friends are over. So Isaac loves that.
Oh, I see.
I think she also taught him to put a bit of honey in soda water.
Well, my kids, the number one thing on their Christmas list this year was one of those soda stream things.
Oh, yes.
And I tell you, I'm so impressed that I can't believe we never had one before.
Yeah, I'm wondering about getting one of those. So what do you put in it?
Well, the kids they call it glitter water.
Yep.
So we just use the filtered water, and they just make glitter water, but we just, you can get little bottles of squeezy lemon juice or squeezy lime juice from our whole food supplier.
Yeah.
So I've always got those in there, and they just put like 1 or 2 drops in. I was getting the limes and the lemons and letting them juice them, and, you know, like, yes, I know they need to acquire those skills.
But they don't use all the...
Everything is sticky.
Yes.
It's like the sticky floor, and then the knobs on the cabinets are all sticky, so it's just much easier and so much better for my sanity.
Yes.
If I've got a little squeezy bottle and they can just put a little bit in. So they're not actually putting any sweeteners in, they're just using that tiny little thing just to give it a small amount of flavour. And because my kids are so used to eating bitter things, you know, like it's not a problem for them at all. But, yeah, they just love a glitter water. Or I put some beetroot powder in with their water, so they've got like a pink lemonade thing going on, even though it's just like this carbonated water and just a bit of beetroot. But you can't really taste the beetroot, and it's all about the colour.
It is. Sometimes Cassie will stick berries in to soda water, a few berries, just a few frozen berries instead of ice.
Yeah, yeah. So I have made a like a compote or like a cordial just with berries on the stove.
Yes.
And just had that watered down.
Cassie does that with peaches.
Yeah. Oh.
She does that with peaches and adds that to... What does she add to that?
Well, peaches and berries in soda water.
I don't know about berries.
No, I'm just not sure what you said.
I don't know exactly what she puts in that. She does something with peaches on the stove and then makes a drink out of it.
That's what she did, yes. That was so delicious. She was actually cooking peaches in the same water that she was making tea out of. So she was cooking the peaches, and I guess she could eat...
peach tea.
She could eat the peaches, and then we had some peach tea, and it was, wow, it was delicious.
With the rooibos.
I really liked it. It was so sweet.
I hope rooibos is okay.
She came up to me.
Yeah.
She came up to me and said, if it's not sweet enough, just add some honey.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Was it sweet enough?
It was sweet enough.
Knowing her, it was too sweet. So, Isaac, do you think that maybe too much honey might not be a good idea on gaps?
Yes, it's definitely not a good idea to have too much sweetener, but sometimes it's hard not to.
Too much honey and too much fruit. So that's one thing that we're trying to work on with the kids is now that they are allowed to bring back some fruit, I have to keep a tight control on that because when I'm not around and they're hungry for a snack, they'll grab fruit because it's easy.
Yeah.
So we have to work on that, make sure that it's hidden away and they only get a certain bit a day, you know.
A month.
A month, I nearly said,
Yeah, well, just identifying that a serve of fruit is not just one whole piece of fruit. So, and that each person is different. In my house, like Mark's happy with 5 blueberries, and that's his serve of fruit for the day.
Yeah.
Or if we're going to get something, if we go to the organic markets and there's something that's just incredible, you know, when you walk past and you can smell it and it's just in season and it's just perfect, we'll get 1 piece for all of us. Yes. And it's not that I'm being stingy, it's just that that's our load and that's what we choose to have and use. And, you know, it conserves and it stops the tantrums and the, you know, the the sugar, you know, load that we have afterwards with Gabriel.
Yes.
So if he eats too much fruit, he's still, it's like having a husky. Yeah. You've got to take him for a run afterwards. So, definitely lower on the fruit is better for us.
Yes. Well, that's one thing that we have to be careful of here because the kids just adore fruit and it's like pulling teeth to get them to keep away.
Oh. Hey, Isaac, are you happy with Mum? Do you think this is a good idea that Mum decided that, I know she started it and she instigated it, but do you think it was a good idea that the whole family went down this path?
Yeah, I think it's a very good idea. I think all of us needed it. Well, Cassia and Dad didn't exactly need it too much, but Cassia does need to, you know,
cut down on sugar.
Yeah, cut down on sugar and everything. But I'm glad Mum did this for us, and it's I do think it's a good idea because I need to, you know, treat OCD naturally. So and get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So if the body's in balance, then you might not have as many of the symptoms that you were experiencing, right?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
And what do you think some of the biggest things you've learnt from doing GAPS, Isaac?
I guess I've learned a lot more about health and about the gut-brain connection. And, well...
When we first started, you did a lot of reading, didn't you? Trying to
I was
understand it.
Always looking on websites and because I was really excited about what I could have on the next stage. And I would be like, oh, what can I have on stage so-and-so? Oh, yes, I can have so-and-so. And, you know,
I got a lot of text messages from you, didn't I, Isaac?
Yes.
yeah, I was asking you a lot of things.
Yeah, I hardly hear from you now.
Yeah.
We're like really looking into what was each stage. And so half the time I didn't know what was next. And I'd say, Isaac, what can we have next? And he'd tell me because he was always researching it. But even before we started GAPS, he's the kind of kid that wants to know. So he will get on the internet and research, like he would get on it and research OCD and read stories of how people helped their OCD, what they did, things that helped them. And that really encouraged him that there were ways to deal with it. It wasn't something that you had to be stuck with all your life, well, suffer from all your life. You could improve it. So that's why he was so focused on getting GAPS sorted out and doing it properly. And he's very particular with GAPS. Like, if the others start to mess up on something, he'll be the first one to tell them because he wants to do it properly because he doesn't want to mess up all this work that we've done. So that's good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you can think of to ask him, Leah?
If you had something you could share or something you could impart to the other kids that are going to be starting GAPS, so what would that be? Would that be, you know, just your mum and dad are doing the right thing, or is there something that you can tell them that will help them understand, Isaac?
Okay, well, first of all, don't do what me and my siblings did when we found out we were going to be on GAPS for 2 years. Because, although it may be a little bit disappointing at first, when you really get into GAPS, you are really happy when you go to the next stage, because you're really happy that you can have a certain food. So you don't think about being on it for 2 years, and you're actually looking forward to getting to full GAPS, and you're not worrying about not being able to have, you know, you're not worrying too much because you know you're going to be able to have a lot more on the full GAPS diet, and you know that's
Taking
one
it
thing.
one step at a time.
And
baby steps, right?
Yeah, and also real food isn't too hard for you to really get. Like, I go to my friend's place and they cook me up some veggies and just some water. They boil me some veggies and they make some meat patties or
chicken.
or buy me some chicken legs just for me from the store so I can eat some when I go over to their place. And you know, so you don't have to worry about not being able to socialize with anyone.
Eggs.
And eggs are really easy when you're on stage 3, and avocado and everything. So there are a lot. It may not seem like there's a lot of foods that you can have when you go to different places, but there really is. So, what else? Well, it's definitely worth it after being on the GAPS diet, because if you were eating so unhealthy before, you know that you're eating healthy now, and you're not going to run into as many problems as you normally would if you weren't being healthy. Like, let's say when you get older, you might have a problem that's due to your diet.
Like an autoimmune disease or something like that?
Yeah, so or diabetes or something like that.
Do you think that, I know that there are people out there that are healing autoimmune diseases with GAPS. So do you think that the GAPS diet would be beneficial for anyone, do you think, that has some sort of diagnosis?
Yeah, I think the GAPS diet helps quite a lot of things. For me, OCD, and for a lot of other people, it helps other things like eczema and chronic fatigue and things like that people I know have. And some of the people I know are actually going on the diet.
Really?
To try and heal it. We had a family come up who had eczema. They got eczema and they got chronic fatigue, and they're actually starting on GAPS. So
wow,
I'm really happy for them with that, and I really hope they do well. So
okay, now Isaac, I would really like to hear about the story of the video you made. Can you tell us all about that?
For the little girl who...
Oh, yeah, well, she just needed some help with GAPS. She was a bit disappointed, and...
She was 9.
She was 9, and I explained some things, and I said, don't worry about... I said, I don't like sauerkraut either, but she said she's having sauerkraut with honey, which sounds a bit weird, but fair enough. If it tastes nice, fair enough. I've never tried it. It probably does taste nice. But, and what else do we say?
Well, she was feeling like she didn't even want to eat in the first couple of weeks because she was so
we told her about
upset.
We told her about the foods that we really like on GAPS, and
On the first stage or two.
I mean, like, so much delicious stuff that you can actually have on GAPS, more than you can really think about. Like, when you first start GAPS, you're like, oh, I'm gonna starve, I can't eat anything, you know. But there's really a lot to eat, and it's really nice. It's really good. It's better than I expected. So,
and we found with Isaac's friends, they would come over and I'd serve up dinner, and they'd say, "This is so delicious. I wish I was on GAPS."
but obviously they'd be like, "Oh,
but
the sugar's gone."
I did say to them, "Well, you might not be so excited when it comes to dessert time, but it's good that you're enjoying the food because this is really healthy food, and anybody can have it."
Yeah,
don't have to be
and that's so
food,
true.
Real food.
You don't have to be on
so
GAPS to
true.
enjoy good slow-cooked meats and veggies and broths and all those yummy traditional cooking that we so often get away from because we're in a hurry-up lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I think that's what our kids have enjoyed. And my husband also, who's very, he stands back and just watches and eats pretty much whatever I make, but he'll also eat other things. But he's really even commented that this food is delicious, so that's a win.
Very good. Hey, Isaac, I know that you like making little videos. Will you be making other little videos, do you think? That might be out there for other kids soon, or?
Well, someone wanted me to teach them a Rubik's Cube,
Oh, cool.
which I'd be happy to.
Oh, okay.
My
So do you think that your Rubik's Cube skills has improved because of your diet and your concentration?
Hey, you know what?
What?
My memorization of algorithms and move sequences on a Rubik's Cube that improve your time is really, really, really good because
Okay.
I can
Yeah.
memorize lots of algorithms over a few days, and I just... Okay, so since you've been up here...
Yeah,
last
when
time
I was
you were
up there,
here,
what was it? What was the time that I recorded?
My best time on a Rubik's Cube was 1 minute and 23 seconds.
It was. I had my phone out and I pressed record and we sat there and we did it together and I was blown away by that. That's insane. And then I came home and I showed Mark, who's also into Rubik's Cubes, and he couldn't believe that you did it in that time because he does it over a cup of tea. You know, like he does it, it really takes his time. So what are you up to now?
So now...
Yeah?
I have come down...
Do I need to get a seat? Do I need to
Yes,
sit down? Okay,
definitely.
I'm going to
Okay,
sit
I think
down.
you've started me.
Uh-oh, this is his favourite subject.
This is my favourite subject.
I know.
Well, I have come down 1 minute and 3 seconds. My best time is now 20 seconds.
Are you serious?
I know, and even the last time I talked to you, Leah, I said 23. It's come
I
down
know,
3 seconds
I
from
know.
that. So it's been 1 minute and 3 seconds, and I'm really excited about hopefully getting under 20 seconds soon. I just
Okay.
can't wait.
What sort of cube are you using?
I'm using a professional speed cube. That's,
Yeah?
it's really, really, really good and fast, and I'm collecting different types and testing them and, you know, seeing how good they are. And my current best time is actually on a cube that's a world record holder.
Wow.
I won't say the name of it because they all just sound...
Go on, say it.
Well, they're all just Chinese, and, like, it's called a Dian Zanchi, or or something like that. And it's really, really fast. It's really good. I don't use it. I use my other one mostly, but that one's with my record. And, man, I'm really excited about it. And I use other cubes as well, like 4x4, 2x2, 5x5.
When you say 4x4, you're talking 4 squares by 4 squares,
Yes.
cubed all the way around, isn't
Yes,
it?
which would be obviously, what is it? 4 times 16 on each side.
On 16 on each side. Okay,
16
cool.
colours, but each piece has 3 colours on it. But anyway,
Yeah,
so it's a
okay.
4x4. And I can do a 5x5, and I want to learn to do a 7x7 sometime. But
Wow.
I haven't gotten up to that yet. And I can also do a pyramid cube, and there's one called a Megaminx. It's got 12 sides. It's a dodecahedron,
Yep.
and it's a 3x3.
Yep.
So it's kind of like it's really cool, and I have fun with that. Me and my friend are total competitors, and me and him race with that, and we race with other types and everything. Man, Leah, I've gotten so many new Rubik's Cubes since you've been up.
I want to see photos.
Got millions of them now. And just today I was expecting another one that's really fast, but, yeah, didn't come today.
Just bringing it back to gaps. Sorry, guys.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're doing a podcast.
That's
not
right.
A Rubik's Cube
discussion. Isaac's going to be off on a tangent. You won't shut him up. Was there any gaps videos that you were going to do?
Yeah. Are you going to do some for the kids, or is the one that you did for that little girl, are you going to make that available on your YouTube channel, do you think?
Probably, I don't know. Probably not, but because we were kind of specifically talking to her, but
yeah,
if I need to, because if I ever need to talk to someone, Mum lets me know. She goes, okay, this person needs help, and they want you to talk to them about gaps, and so I definitely would help with that. In that case, I would definitely make a video and do it with Mum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. If Mum wants me to help her with a video, I'll do it.
And you also have some videos on your YouTube channel.
Which I haven't been doing much on there lately because I haven't really...
You've been busy.
Rubik's Cubing.
Yeah, I've been thinking of making a Rubik's Cube YouTube channel, actually.
Oh, cool. Because you were doing cooking stuff as well.
We'll have to get you doing a few more cooking things, though, because Isaac does help me in the kitchen every day.
Oh, he's a good boy.
You have to get someone with the camera there while we're doing that so that...
You just get Simmy.
Yeah, that'll be a good job for Simmy.
I bought a pretty good camera a while back, and it's working quite well. So we can use that for our videos. It's quite good.
Oh, good job.
Very good. I think that's all. Do you have any more questions, or shall we leave it at that?
We'll leave it at that, I think.
It's getting close to an hour.
Otherwise, we're going to be doing Rubik's Cube competitions.
I know.
And,
we will.
We've got 8 minutes to talk about Rubik's Cubes.
No, we don't.
And did you hear the latest one came out?
No, shush. You've started him. No. Thank you, Leah. But thank you, Isaac, for answering those questions. If anybody does have any other questions for Isaac, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer them. So just put them on my Facebook page and I'll pass them on. And if you've got a request for a gaps recipe video from Isaac, then maybe mention that as well, and we'll try to get him back onto that. He was very keen to get some done, and it was kind of up to me to help him do the videoing, and Mum has been busy, and so we got a bit distracted from that. But
I reckon the carrots cooked in the broth, I think that would go really well.
Yeah, we should do that.
That's a quick, easy one.
Yes. So thank you, Zaki, and thank you, Leah. And thank you, everyone who's listening, for listening in. And we hope you enjoyed it and are finding it encouraging and helpful. And that if your kids are struggling with gaps, then maybe let them listen to this and let them have a chat to Isaac sometime on, just send him a question on my Facebook page and he'll answer it. And we'll see how we go. If we can encourage you, we would love to. If you do have any questions and comments, please do post them on our Facebook pages or on the website www.thewellnesscouch.com/A Quirky Journey. So there's places there where you can comment. And we'd also love for you to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, and also check out thewellnesscouch.com where you can view the entire range of wellness podcasts available.
Yep.
Keep working on those small changes, and we will be back next week to share more of our journeys with you and the journeys of other people who are going through these special times of change in their lives. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, Leah.
Bye.
Thanks, Isaac. Bye.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/The Wellness Couch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.